Hey y'all. Let's see. There we go. Mercedes girl, Charlie. Let's see. Who did I miss? I know I missed people. Lynn's. Thank you. Celinda. Steady. I'm still missing people. Hey Christy. Storm Rider Randall. Hey sweet. Where you been? You've been missed. Hey He-Man. Knitting. Steady. Did I say that? Hey Warrior Grandma. See Chester. Yeah, I made it. I did. Wendy will be here in just a few minutes. The crazy thing is I made it with electricity. I didn't think I would. There's a lot of people without electric here. Good day. Good day. Let me get off Top Chat. Hey, Karma. You don't have power, Aaron? I've missed you too, Steady. Thank you so much. Y'all make me feel so good. Y'all helped a lot. And thank you, Warrior Grandma. I stayed up really late, so I woke up early this morning and then I went ahead and laid back down because they're stuck in their houses in Tampa. Oof. Thank you, Patricia. It was wild. Hey, Lavender. You wrote out Milton. That's history. That's true. That's true. No, I couldn't. I couldn't move it. I wasn't thinking. I've completely forgot that they bolt these suckers to the wall. Jim laughed his ass off when I told him. I said, "Do you know I was trying to move the bed and it's bolted?" What? I heard something like that, but I don't. I didn't know if it was true or what. Oh, you humans in chat. Surely not. Hey, Life Rewinded. Thank you. Yes, no more. No more. Yeah, I don't think they could take much more. We do need to talk Mother Nature. Yeah, it's like there's a lot of roads. There's still, they're begging people not to be on the roads. Hey, Darren. It's flooded in a lot of areas in Orlando too. Did y'all see Disney World? Hey, Tara. That's me, Darren. Next month, the Antarctic. Oh, but that we can't help. Well, I don't know what found. People are looking down at FEMA. um, Red Cross. There's a lot that you can. I can look up Disney World. Let's see and show it. Let me find it. Let's see here. Well, where is it? Tropical Storm Nadine. Why there's so much talk about the next hurricane. What? Stop it. Where? Any other time I'd be able to just pop on and find some. Looks like some have stayed. I don't know. I'll find it. Maybe Wendy can find. I can't find it. Yeah. Debbie texted last night and said, "Hey, Jackie. Yeah, I was gonna just post a community post. I stayed up so late, but I thought no, I should just go live and see everybody and talk to everybody. Let me turn on this air. Hey, Debbie. There you are. 200 million without power. Wow. Hi, Jessica. Excuse me. 200 million. I can't believe that I have electricity. Oh, okay. So maybe Disney didn't flood. Debbie just texted me and said that they those were fake pictures that they were showing. Disney didn't flood. Good. Thank God. Okay, Aaron, I'll have to look. I last night, like I pray everybody, a lot of people checked on me and stuff, but I was so like I was watching the storm out of the window, I pulled the curtains back. I didn't stand at the window, and then so I don't know. I wasn't scared. I just watched the storm and watched Shameless at the same time. Yeah, the wind was bad. It I mean, but I think, by the time it got here, it was like a 1. So it wasn't, scary at all. The UK Shameless. Is that the name of it? What's the name of it? It helped. I'm telling you, it helped me, and I just kept waiting for the electric to go out, and Shameless is the name. Is it on Netflix too? Okay, sweet. Oh, we have a knock. Wendell.
Hello. Sorry I'm late. Did I miss anything?
No,
Okay, good.
I
How
told
are
every.
you?
I'm okay. I'm tired, but I'm okay.
So you're everything's good. You're still standing. Hotel's still standing. Everybody's safe. Car's safe.
Yep.
All right, good. Phew.
The uh the parking lot was a bit flooded, but not bad. There was standing water, but it's good. I mean, it for so many people went through so much, and then it just by the time it got here, it was like about a one. So
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I've been seeing. Hey, Karma. I've been seeing. Hey, Pammy B. How are you? Sorry, I'm late, y'all.
okay, Kate Bronson.
Um. Yeah, I've seen people, posting their videos and stuff. It's so scary and terrifying.
Yeah, I can't believe I didn't take more videos, but
I know. I mean, either. I'm like, take video. Let's show everybody because, everybody wants to know how you're doing. Hey, Jesse Cat.
I
Uh, everybody wants to. Hey, Steady. Everybody wants to know. Hey, Mercedes. How you're doing and stuff. And the video that you posted was so cool. Just to. I mean, cool is probably not the word, but it's fascinating. I guess for
yeah.
us people in Nebraska, we don't get hurricanes, so it's
Well, I mean, I stayed awake. I drank a cup of coffee about like 1 this morning, and then at 3, I thought the worst was over. This is where, I was so mad at myself. I went ahead and I took my melatonin and stuff,
yeah,
and then it hit. So I missed the shebang, when it really hit.
yeah.
I
I
could
was
hear.
wondering if you were going to end up sleeping through it because just the way it was tracking to
Thank you, God.
hit you right when it was supposed to hit you was like sometime overnight, and so I thought, I wonder if she's going to sleep through the whole thing.
That's what happened. I
Yeah,
There was a lot of like there was a few moments I was like, "Oh, is this it?" Because the tornadoes were this was
yeah,
like a record amount of tornadoes.
right. Tornadoes and hurricanes at the same time. What the heck? And
Mhm.
times.
Right.
That's it, man. End times. Whoops.
Glad you are okay. Our shelter had a tornado in Bradenton. Oh, really? They said there was one headed straight for us, and I'm like, "Okay, well, I've dealt with those, and I know it's just poof, you're gone." But I didn't see it. I kept looking to see if of course, I texted Wendy, and I'm like, "There's tornadoes." She's like, "Try to get one on camera." Okay. Try to film it. And she fell out. The I don't think that this one hit North Carolina. I mean, I could be wrong because Wendell returned this top some seat. Y'all aren't talking about a TV show, I think. It it was because it said it was starting out as a 5, then it went to a 4, and I think by the time it hit, it was what, a 3? Just a 6. Yes. They look. They price gouged me right into a $16 can opener. I had to have a can opener because I was positive we would lose electricity, and I thought, well, I'll have, you have no choice but to pay that. So, did Wendy tag out? She must have. She's resetting her speaker. Okay. She'll be right back. Yeah, they did. $16. And I mean, it's just one of those twist ones. I mean, obviously you wouldn't get an electric can opener with no electricity. Yeah, except I didn't have flashlights, but I got a bunch of candles, just in case. 'Cause you couldn't find the flashlight anywhere.
Flash. Good grief. Can you hear me?
Yes. Hey, Mountain
Okay.
Mama.
Yeah, and I can hear you guys. I can hear you finally. My my computer has a setting and I need to unset it. I need to find the setting of it and turn it off. Where when I hit, and sweet, maybe
Okay.
you could help me. When I hit on a Mac at the bottom, very bottom left hand side is the emoji button, right? So if you click that, my emoji keyboard pops up. If I hit it twice, it turns into recording my voice, which shuts off all my speakers and only wants to record me. Usually I can undo that, which, but I obviously I don't know how to undo that. I'm sorry. So I'm sorry. It took me a minute. I need to try to fix that. That needs to go away. I don't need that feature. Thank you.
Yeah. I started to get out of bed and go sit at the desk, and I thought, why would you do that? You have your laptop. Stay in bed. Even though I'm honestly getting a little sore from sitting in this bed.
Yeah, you need to enjoy your laptop more, girl.
I do. Well, now I had to download Chrome and all that stuff. It wouldn't. I didn't think it would matter. Thank you, Amy. Ooh, homemade meat sauce. Sounds good. Yeah, I cooked food up yesterday. I was just in there I got a bathtub full of water I still gotta let out.
Well, I'm just glad you're okay.
Me too. Me too. Um, did you see there was a guy I think he was in Tampa that's decided to stay on his boat. They're calling him Lieutenant Dan.
No, I have no idea who that is.
Yeah, they did fix my hot water. They
Hmm.
had to reset the I'm gonna look him up.
Oh, I can hear you typing. That must be how I sound.
Can you hear me? I was barely
Yes.
touching it. See?
Okay. Thank you very much. That's what I've been saying for a year. Now who sounds like Godzilla? Yeah. And you can't hear it, huh?
Nope.
Yeah. Oh. And mine's even softer because I have a cover on it. Like I have a little like a rubber cover on it. So it's even softer. It doesn't even click like, with your nails or anything. But it still sounds like Godzilla pouncing across my keyboard.
Oh, here it is. And I guess the guy
ahead of that dangerous storm. Joseph Malinowski, known to locals as Lieutenant Dan, he's generated a lot of heat so far tonight. Earlier, you see it here, police tried to force him to leave his sailboat in Tampa Bay, but he didn't head to shelter. He
missing a
refused to get
leg.
in. Now, video from today shows him struggling to prevail that sailboat for the conditions to come. He survived Hurricane Helene 2 weeks ago and says, even facing arrest, even risking his own life, he is riding out that storm tonight.
God sent me here.
I was gonna say he obviously
here. My life,
obviously he has some things to settle with the Lord,
Yes.
And I'm fine with it, Lieutenant Dan. Do you? Why are you bullying this man? Let him do what he wants.
You know what? I can't believe they're calling him Lieutenant Dan on purpose. But okay. I didn't realize that he was missing a leg. Okay.
Well, I mean, why else would they call him Lieutenant Dan? I mean, that's why they call him that.
No, Randall, you can't take him home.
I know.
Look,
Randy's gonna be at the marina next another road trip. Yeah, he's obviously got some things he needs to talk about with the Lord, and apparently that only happens during a hurricane. So, Godspeed, brother.
bless his heart. He's actually, and I mean, that boat was flopping all over the place. There was cameras on it.
What was his reason? You shut it off. Can we hear the rest of it? Or
Oh, yeah.
love to know what his reason is.
Oh, let me mute too. Jim's calling.
Okay. Oh, I bet your family is so relieved that you're safe and sound. How were you guys? Anybody else in the storm?
Compared to what I've been through, so this doesn't scare me. It's not even a minor inconvenience.
Again, hours earlier, Mayor Jane Castor of Tampa did threaten to arrest him for his own protection and force him into a shelter. And at this hour, it's unclear if that has happened yet.
New tonight.
Good grief. Arrest him and put him in a shelter, and then the shelter will flood. Watch. Craziness. Well, I don't know. I don't understand why he wants to do that, but all right.
Tracking Milton tonight, a live look right there over Tampa, Florida. A lot of flooding already rushing Bayshore Boulevard right there next to Tampa Bay, and nearby, some refusing to evacuate ahead of that dangerous storm. Joseph Malinowski, known to locals as Lieutenant Dan, he's generated a lot of heat so far tonight. Earlier, you see it here.
You're still muted, Randy. Do you know that?
Nope, just talking up storm I was.
I figured since you're doing stuff, you're not on the phone anymore. I'm like, wonder if she knows she's muted still.
Oh, boy. Dadgummit. Do you know I do that a lot more than I care to admit? The locals here call him Lieutenant Dan.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I thought they just named him that last night because he was in that storm. Remember Lieutenant Dan jumped in the water because of the storm?
Oh, yeah. I'm assuming that's why he's named that. Well, because of his leg, I'm assuming. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I guess there's lots of TikToks. I guess he's, becoming famous.
Oh, yeah. He was trending on Twitter today, so.
Yeah.
And it surprised me that Orlando was the people next door having fun. Can y'all hear them?
No, what are they doing?
I don't know. It could be a TV. They're loud, though.
They're celebrating. They're safe.
They are. They
made it.
Kids playing. Yeah, look, we woke up and have electricity.
Yeah.
He's in a newer building too, so no hurricane windows. Etc. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was watching Lawyer You Know. Do you know that channel? Do you watch that guy ever? Lawyer You Know?
No.
He's great. He's really great. I think you would really like him too. You should watch him. But he covers a lot of Sarah Boone stuff, and he's in Florida. And people were asking him about evacuating and all of that, and he said it was really interesting the way that he was talking, because he's like he made a real special point to say, I don't tell people what they need to do, and I don't want people telling me what I need to do. We've made a decision for our family. It works for our family. It's what we think is best. If you think something different, that is totally okay. I'm not going to tell you what works best for your family. Like, he had a whole thing. And I'm like, wow, you obviously, this is something you have to think about a lot. Obviously, I guess if you live in Florida, that's the thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess so, because like what was on my mind so heavy last night, it was the people who wanted to evacuate but couldn't.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
So,
that's got to be scary too, being stuck on the road. I've heard people, it was taking them 3 hours to get to a place that's, 30 minutes away.
oh yeah, that was what was my deciding factor in not leaving, was people wrecking. They were having wrecks, they were running out of
Mhm.
gas, they were, and then there were
Yes,
no
that was the other thing, is that the gas stations had no gas.
mm-mm.
Crazy.
Hey, Wyland.
Hey, wild one.
See, right now here, there's no wind. I think it stopped raining. It was supposed to rain, I think, most of the day, but it stopped here. I don't know what it's doing anywhere else, but
It's so crazy, especially because you can't predict. Like, they think, you get all people get really scared, rightfully so. Obviously, hurricanes can be devastating. And then nothing happens. And then it's totally, really fine.
yeah.
Um,
Well,
thank God. At least where you are, it's fine. I know
yeah.
other places are not fine.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's just torn up a lot. That was Sarasota, that it got hit really bad. Like there's some, I mean, I don't know the death toll or anything like that, but thank you, West Virginia Mountain Mama.
Mm.
I gotta make stupid spam for the sick son. Ew.
Isn't it funny what you crave when you're sick?
Yes.
I remember when I was pregnant,
Hey, Nana
I could
Patty.
I could not eat meat at all, like hamburger meat or anything. I couldn't eat. Not even a tiny tiny bit of it. I couldn't even taste it. It was just no. But I would put 3 pieces of bologna on white bread and eat that like it was Thanksgiving dinner. The best thing I ever had. No mayonnaise, nothing. Just white bread, plain white bread, 3 pieces of big old thick bologna. Yeah,
Yeah, it's crazy what tastes good
and it was
when.
fantastic. Yeah, it's the best thing I ever had.
Oh no, as a kid, my nanny, we had. Yes, Debbie, you can come up. Um, Nanny would cook spam. She would fry spam and act like it was a big deal. Oh, we're gonna have spam sandwiches. Oh,
Mhm. I love a fried spam, actually. I don't make it ever, but I do think it tastes good. Sorry. I don't know what it's made of. I don't need to know. It's fine. I don't eat
yeah,
it
I
very
would
often.
never. That's
I don't
when
eat it.
can. I'm not gonna
Right.
read that.
I don't eat it often enough to know, like, that I need to worry about it. I don't think, but it is good. Yeah, my mom used to make them for us too when we were kids. That, and you remember, but do you know what devil's ham? Have you heard of that?
I
Has
got
anyone ever
sick
eaten
on that once. Yes, I loved it until I got sick on it.
Yes. That stuff is good too, man. We used to have deviled ham sandwiches too, I guess.
Yeah, that's what yep, I got sick. I got a stomach virus, and I don't think I've ever eaten it again. And used to
Yeah.
love me some potted meat. What is potted meat? I don't know. According to Sling Blade, it's peckers and
It's meat
meat.
in a pot. That's all I know. I don't think I've ever had potted meat. I've never had that. But I did love devil's ham. Is that what it's called? Devil's ham? Like, it comes in a little tiny jar, a little tiny can with a picture of a devil outside.
Yeah, I'm picturing it right now, and it opened up
Mhm.
like a can
Like a
of
cat
potted
food.
meat. Yeah.
A can of cat food. And it kind of looked like cat food too, really.
It did look like cat food, yes. Hey, Deb.
Hey,
Hey,
Deb.
hello. I just wanted a minute, and don't get mad at me, Randy. Um,
Uh-oh.
it's a mommy in me. I can't help it. I just wanted to put out there that I know that Randy has dipped into her funds, her very limited funds that she had set aside for this trot. So if anybody has an extra dollar or two, they could throw her way and use her Cash App or PayPal so she'll get it right away. I would really appreciate it. Then I don't have to worry about her. That's it.
Oh, you're so sweet, Deb.
Oh, Deb, thank you.
You're a sweetie.
So
How are you
glad.
doing? Mm,
I'm okay.
none of that.
I'm okay.
Ugh.
But I worried about Randy all night, wondering,
I know,
how
that's
she
why
was.
I texted her this morning. I was like, "You need to do a community post or go live or
Oh
something.
yeah.
People are worried sick about you, girl."
And I don't want to keep texting her because I'm sure, she's got hundreds of text messages. But just, knowing that she's okay, I'm glad.
Yeah,
Yeah, Randy does have Cash App. Can somebody put
they're
all that information in?
yeah, they are. They're Nightbot's.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah, that, I'm sure it'll help. Even $5, whatever you have will help.
you're so
You know.
sweet. Dude.
You are
Well,
sweet.
I just know that she's dipped into money that, you know, she had to prepare for this. Plus, having to stay extra time and, um, you know, I just want her to be able to relax and, um, do what she went there to do without worrying about everything. So that's
Yeah.
all I wanted. I'm gonna drop out now.
All right. Love you,
So
Deb.
Love you,
love
Deb.
you guys
Thank
too.
you.
Love all of you. All right.
Um,
Bye bye.
Speaking of Sarah Boone, there is some new information that just recently came out with the new um motion. Are you all right?
Uh, What are you talking? What? Okay, what are you talking about?
Dang, what's wrong? Are you okay?
Because I just remembered something I heard about Sarah Bone. I was wondering if that's what you was about to talk about.
Does
I'm
it
fine.
involve a
I
baseball
got excited.
bat? Does it involve a baseball bat?
Yes, it does.
We should talk about that because that's brand new information. And now I'm wondering if all the rest of the bruises and stuff, I bet she hit that motherfucker straight through the suitcase. And when they were doing some kind of Joey Tribbiani thing, talking about, let's see if it hurts. Crack. I totally believe that.
Or here's what. All right. Remember, we heard the other day when we were on there, when we were on, that she said, I put him in a suitcase. And then later she said he got in the suitcase.
Yeah. Well, the prosecution. Okay, let me see. Let me find the document
Because
first of all. Here
are
it
you
is.
talking about his fingertips, right? Why would she have been beating his fingertips to get him in the suitcase?
I don't think she beat him into the suitcase though. But when he was in there trying to get out, maybe she was beating him. Right?
Yeah. Yeah, something. She beat him. Thank you so much, Jackie Burns. I appreciate that. Christy, thank you for the super chat. May heart it.
All right, let me see if I can find what I'm talking about here. Let me see.
Okay.
Okay.
I appreciate y'all.
Is this where it talks about with the baseball bat? Hang on.
I think she did too. I've had spam and eggs, and spam and eggs I loved it when I was a kid, but now I just can't. The texture.
Okay, hang on just one second. Let me open this. Hold on a second.
There is a brand new baby next door. I can hear it crying. I wonder if they'll let me have it for a while.
Okay. Time 37:05. Okay. All right, we're gonna watch some of this.
All right.
And this woman talks really slowly, so I'm going to speed her up to 1.5. But this is on my playlist. This is on I have a Sarah Boone playlist. This is on there. So for anyone who wants to go back and watch it, or if you missed something, I'll also put the link in the chat. Whoops. Here's the link for this video is in the chat. There you go. Okay, pull this in, Randy.
Okay.
Okay. Here, let's do it full screen. That's it. That's as full screen as I'm getting.
Yeah, and I presented it.
Okay, good enough. That's fine. All right, here we go.
Is important, and there's going to be the issue of dragging the victim through the mud.
Let me know if this is too fast. I hope it's not.
And that is the end of that. I'm going to have a look at the chat. Oh yes, I forgot to tell you. She was offered a plea deal this morning.
Okay, we saw all that. We talked about that already.
In the middle of the argument upstairs that caused a sudden silence. I want to know that. To exclude battered spouse syndrome evidence.
Okay, so what's happening here is that the prosecution has filed these it's called state's motion in limine, and it means like preliminary motion. They're trying to get her she has recently decided that she's going to go with spattered bowels, and I say it like that every time. Spattered bowels. I say it every time. True crime expert right here, ladies and gentlemen. You're right. Battered spouse. That's what she's going to go with, right? So basically saying that she had to do this in self-defense. Thank you, sweet, for dropping that. She had to do this in self-defense. He obviously triggered something, and so she put him in there to save her own life, basically, is where she's kind of going with this, right? Which, as you know, is the exact opposite of everything she said during the interrogation.
Oh boy. Is it me or Wendy?
There, am I back now?
Yes.
It always happens when I start sharing. It chokes for like 5 seconds, and then I have to get it fixed.
No,
okay.
Where am I supposed to find the emojis on this?
On the very, very bottom left, you see the globe.
Yep.
It says it's the function key at the bottom of the globe.
Found them.
If you push that, your emoji keyboard should pop up.
I see it. Got it.
Don't push it twice though, because you might get stuck.
Yeah, I'm done.
Spattered bowels. I keep saying it like that. I don't know why. Anyways, so during her interrogation, of course, she claimed that it was an accident, which is completely opposite of battered spouse. Now I have to be careful every time because I'm going to say it wrong. And so anyway, that's why they wanted to get the interrogation thrown out. Remember, we've talked about this. That's why they wanted to get the interrogation thrown out. Of course, the state prosecution was like, nope, not doing that. So let's hear this motion that they filed, because they're going to talk about why she cannot use battered spouse. They're talking about why. And some of the details in this motion are things that we never heard about, including a baseball bat. That was new. That was brand new information.
Now, I knew they had said there was a bat sitting there. Remember, I think they brought that up in the interrogation.
But I never knew that she did anything with that bat. I didn't know that she actually had hit him with it.
Me either, because remember, we just assumed she threw him down the steps, and that's where all the bruises and stuff. That's what I assumed.
Right, that's what I assumed too. But now I'm wondering if they were playing in the beginning, and I'm using air quotes when I say playing, and she was smacking him through the thing, maybe to see if it hurt or not. You know, I could totally see them doing that because she's that stupid. Yeah,
I don't. Okay, here's my theory. Of course, we're never going to know because she's never going to tell the truth.
Correct.
But I think she got him in the suitcase. Maybe he got in, and then she beat the piss out of him with that bat.
But why? They were having such a good day.
They were possibly, yeah. Okay,
they were having such a good day. Arts and crafts. Why attack him for no reason?
Okay, because they were having a good day until they weren't. They got drunk, and they said, that whenever they got drunk, that's what their domestic violence would lead to. They would get into it. He said something that pissed her off. She somehow got him in that suitcase and beat him. I think she beat him with that bat. I do think she pushed him down the stairs because there's no way she carried it downstairs.
No.
There's no reason for it to already be downstairs. It was a
I think
suitcase.
they might have even started upstairs. They started upstairs, and then she threw it, and then she pushed him down the stairs. I don't, maybe not. I don't know. Because he was okay when he was, I mean, he wasn't okay, but he was talking, and he wasn't mentioning anything about why'd you throw me down the stairs, in the videos. So maybe that's not true, but I don't know. I obviously we're never gonna know. I could totally see it being how I just described, that they were playing and, he was, try to hit me with this, see if it hurts, something like that, something stupid like that. But if he could get his little fingers out through the hole and she would smack them with a bat, there is no way there is no way that you can justify that.
I didn't think so.
Because he can't even get out now. He can't even put his fingers out the hole without you smacking them. That's what it says in this document. We're going to hear it right now.
Okay.
Okay, let's hit play.
Or exclude mention of battered spouse syndrome evidence until the defendant testifies to a justifiable use of deadly force. The state does not want this issue put into especially opening statements because it's going to anchor jurors' brains to a certain concept, and it will allow the defense to repeat and repeat and repeat. And studies have shown that if you repeat something, even if the listener knows it's not true, they're still actually inclined to believe it if they're told that same thing again later, only because it's been repeated so many times. So the idea that the defense can repeat this over and over.
That is so true. That is so true. And I'll tell you how I know that, like from personal experience. There's a fucker on this platform that says a specific lie about me all the time, especially recently. And I know that it's a lie. I know I didn't do what she's saying I did.
Mm-hmm.
And yet, because she's said it now so many times, it sounds real.
Yep.
Almost. It sounds real. And I have to keep thinking, like, I need to tell people that this isn't real in case anyone believes her. I did not call CPS on Trisha. That's the lie, by the way. I didn't call CPS on Trisha. I've never called CPS on Trisha, but stupid crackhead Corey keeps telling people that I did. And I'm thinking, why are you still saying this? It's not true.
Yeah. Well, I have that freaking weirdo that would.
This is 3 days ago, Elsie.
That keeps going into Richard's chat and other places saying that I scammed St. Jude. Call Randy the St. Jude scammer. You won't. You're scared. Blah, 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 blah. Bitch, I never scammed anybody.
Right. Yeah. No, you never scammed anybody.
So,
and I never promised to pay back my half. I never promised. I discussed paying back my half because, in the beginning, I didn't know what the hell to do. I wanted to. And then, as time went on, we decided to go a different direction. So I gave the money to a ministry instead, my son's ministry, and helped. And it was a huge, wonderful thing for that ministry. And I was glad to be able to do that. And I got to do that because of the people that helped me on my channel. And sorry it didn't go to St. Jude, but that's not my fault. I didn't do that. And I didn't call CPS on Trisha. Stop saying that. But I remember, crackheads don't care if they're telling the truth or not. And she obviously doesn't care, but I do. Anyway, it just reminded me after when she was talking about that, because you hear it enough and enough and enough. And I'm like, people are going to believe this. It's become part of the narrative now.
Is important. And there's going to be the issue of dragging the victim through the mud unnecessarily and unfairly. Introduction. The defendant has filed a notice and an amended notice of her intent to rely on battered spouse syndrome evidence in this case. Battered spouse syndrome is not actually a defense to a crime. The introduction of battered spouse syndrome evidence to support a self-defense theory is not for the purpose of justifying a defendant's misperception of reality or to explain why an unreasonable belief was nonetheless justifiable due to her condition. Rather, the Florida Supreme Court has sanctioned the use of battered spouse syndrome to show why the defendant's actions were reasonable, to show in spite of a reasonable perception of danger from the battering spouse, the battered defendant would remain in the home with her batterer, where she may resort to the exertion of force against him to prevent imminent death or great bodily harm. So, not sure if anybody out there needs a translation. So, just in case, even for one of you, I'm going to. Keyword here is justify, right? So, they're saying if the jury has questions in their mind, like, well, why would somebody stay with a batterer and put themselves in that position, right? Why would they do that? This battered spouse syndrome is a way to explain that. That makes sense. That makes it reasonable from the perception of the battered spouse. So it explains, but it does not justify the actions taken. It does not justify even a misperception of reality. So it's just an explanation, not a justification. You have to go a little further in order to come to justification, because ultimately this is actually a self-defense defense, right? So battered spouse is part of that, but it's not the whole kit and caboodle. Let me check out the chat.
Okay, that makes
Muvachaka
sense.
says, I think she pushed that suitcase downstairs according to the neighbor's interview.
That makes sense.
Is that not being
that battered spouse syndrome is an explanation of, you know, like, why would she stay in this abusive relationship, or why would he stay in this abusive relationship, frankly. And so that's where battered spouse comes in. It doesn't come in when you're trying to excuse your criminal action, you know, your criminal action that you did when you hurt him or whatever. So there's a big difference there.
considered by the state? Oh, I'm sure it is.
All right, let's keep going.
Okay.
But
Now
the
we're gonna
judge
get into-
asked her, you know, so you're pleading self-defense, and she said yes. I'm like, okay.
Right. And that's why they wanted the interrogation thrown out. I still can't believe she didn't take that plea deal. And no one can believe it. Everything that I've watched since that day, everybody is mind blown that she did not take that plea deal. She was handed a beautiful sentence. You deserved that. You killed this man. But for you, he would be alive. You killed him. You're responsible for his death. Accident or not, doesn't matter. You deserve time for that. And you were handed a sweetheart deal, and you said no with your full chest, you dumb ass.
Facts. Those pesky things, right? Facts. Sarah's not gonna like this. The defendant has presented several accounts of what happened on February 23rd, 2020. She made a 911 call at approximately 1 p.m. on February 24th, 2020. She spoke to a patrol deputy on body-worn camera shortly thereafter, provided a statement to detectives a few hours later on February 24th, 2020, and provided a second statement to detectives on February 25th, 2020. The defendant retained Dr. Julie Harper as one of her battered spouse syndrome experts in 2020. Over the course of the next several years, Dr. Harper interviewed the defendant about the events of February 23, 2020, multiple times. Exhibit A at the hearing on this motion will be Dr. Harper's deposition, which was taken October 1st, 2024. The state would direct the court to pages, and he named a whole bunch of pages, of Dr. Harper's deposition for the defendant's statements about February 23rd, 2020. The state retained Dr. Tanya Werner as its battered spouse syndrome expert. Dr. Werner evaluated the defendant on October 2nd, 2024, and Dr. Werner was deposed on October 4th, 2024. Exhibit B at the hearing on this
You know what's
motion
crazy about that is because she, at the very last minute, did this Hail Mary. All of a sudden, it's battered spouse, right? All of a sudden, this was a Hail Mary at the last minute. So the state retained their expert because, you know, she has her own expert. Then the state is allowed to get their own expert. So their expert, Dr. Warner, was retained on October 2nd, 8 days ago.
Yeah.
And she was deposed on the 4th, 6 days ago. Good grief. Like at the very last second, because she ran the clock out, basically.
Right.
I wonder if she had gone any more days. Like, I mean, I wonder if they had because they had to know that was a possibility, I guess. So maybe they had her in the wings waiting. I don't know. But like, what if they couldn't have found an expert to refute her Sarah's expert testimony, and I'm using air quotes when I say expert testimony because I don't know how anybody could come up with battered spouse with this crap.
Yeah, I can't wait for Monday. I
Yeah.
cannot
In
wait.
Dr. Warner's deposition, the state would direct the court to pages 75 to 79 of Dr. Warner's deposition for the defendant's statements about February 23rd, 2020. And my guess is that the statements are going to be different. I'm going to check the chat. The state is not asking the court to make any credibility determination about the defendant's statement to the doctors. That would be for the jury to do in the full context of a cross-examination with the defendant's statements to law enforcement. I think this is important so that we don't get sidelined into some other argument that is also nonsense. And it is the jury's job to test the credibility and to, assess that credibility and make a decision about that. But they need everything. They need to have the information in order to make that assessment. Also, having a doctor just repeat what Sarah said doesn't mean that what Sarah said is true.
Mm-hmm.
7.
Exactly. So Sarah's doctor is basically gonna repeat what Sarah tells her. Because how else can she know? She's not gonna know. She's gonna know the story that Sarah's saying. So that in and of itself, you can't just use that and assume that it's true.
And you have to pay these people. This man, and I thought the other day, they're staying at the Hilton. Both of her attorneys are. And I'm like, every bit of this is coming out of their pocket.
Yep.
Yeah, and paying these experts. I'm also using air quotes. Not going to show myself on camera today, though.
Well, the experts, I think, are being paid by the state. They're being paid by the state of Florida. But the lawyers aren't.
Oh, I see. I didn't know. I thought he would have to pay since he wasn't.
No, they filed a motion before they got this doctor and asked if they would give her money for an expert. And they said yes. And so they did. They gave her a certain allowance for her experts.
Asserting that as a matter of law, what the defendant told the doctors does not entitle her to a self-defense instruction, nor does it entitle her to introduce evidence of prior instances of violence, reputation evidence of the decedent's violence. They say decedent here. I am going to change this to victim because that's what he was. Or battered spouse syndrome evidence to help the jury understand why she did was objectively reasonable. So look, we've got a victim here, and just because she said something to the doctor, the law still says you cannot drag a victim's name through the mud for that reason. Lisolette says, do you think Owens wanted her to take the plea? It's fair. And she got less. CJ says, oh yeah, remember going here? 8. The defendant told the doctors that because of past violence between her and the victim, she had a generalized fear every day that the victim would cause her serious bodily harm or kill her. Well, in her police interrogation, she told police that things had been really good lately.
Yeah.
She also told police that nobody touched anybody. Nobody got after anybody that day.
Yep.
9. However, on this particular day, the decedent did not take an overt action, even in the slightest, that made her believe he would cause her serious bodily harm or death.
See,
so
he
the
didn't do
victim
anything.
Didn't do anything at all.
Sorry, she said that. Sorry.
Art and puzzles, right? Having a good day. He didn't do anything that would make her
right. Art and puzzles. He didn't do anything.
Believe that she was at risk. 10. According to the defendant, even while she and the victim woke up, the victim wanted to drink alcohol. She did not. In order to distract the victim, she suggested they instead clean the defendant's townhome.
I love that she's trying to say that he wanted to drink and she didn't. Bitch, if anything, you were shoving alcohol down his throat. Come on, stop it. Pretending like, oh no, I don't need to drink. I don't want to drink. No, thank you. Uh-huh. Yeah, right. Sure.
So he held her down and poured that whole 2 bottles of wine down her throat.
Right. Something tells me that's not really true, Sarah.
And then he hopped in the suitcase. What? I mean,
he's such a compliant victim. It's perfect.
Yeah. Clean an house.
Yeah. So instead of drinking, she wants to clean the house. Who believes that? Who believes that? Honey, let's have a nightcap. No, let's clean instead. Okay, sure.
She's not seen her ex-husband's interview yet at all, I don't think.
Right? She might want to take a gander at that before she starts. Well, it's too late now, but I just don't believe this. You know, he wants to have a nightcap and she's like, no, I want to clean instead. And he's like, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's like, I have
Says,
an
"I smell a
idea.
bologna
Instead of
sandwich."
cleaning, let's get drunk and do puzzles. All right.
Yeah. Yeah, no kidding. The alcohol. At the conclusion of the cleaning, the victim still wished to consume alcohol. Now, this is all according to Sarah, okay? What the prosecution is saying here doesn't mean this is fact. This is one of Sarah's stories, okay? So the victim still wished to consume alcohol. So the two of them began consuming alcohol. The defendant did not want to consume alcohol, but
I wonder, and it will be interesting to watch, if her testimony on the stand when she takes the stand again is going to read anything like this. I'm going to be watching and paying attention to see if it reads anything like this. I really want to know. Is she going to remember this story that she told? Because this isn't the same story she told during the interrogation.
All right. Camera pans over to Randy, and I'm writing in my notebook like a maniac. She said, this.
See?
she did so to placate the victim. So she was able to get him to clean the house, but now she needs to drink to placate the victim.
See, that's crap. She got him to clean the house instead of drinking, but then now, but then he still peer pressured her into drinking. And so she felt like she had to do it or he was going to hurt her. Like, I just don't believe any of this.
Everything is somebody else's fault. So her drinking is also the victim's fault too.
Right.
Now.
I believe she said that.
Oh, yeah.
The alcohol that they consumed was a Chardonnay bottled by Woodbridge. In order to prevent the victim from becoming sad or upset, she kept him diverted by smoking cigarettes with him, drinking, enjoying each other's company, perhaps using the dartboard on her porch, and doing arts and crafts and puzzles. So this is what she's saying. She is still telling the story. It was a good day. We're enjoying each other's company. Aaron says Sarah was probably the one that wanted to drink. Who knows?
That's what I think too.
Mr. Torres' own mother said that he
they
was
were
an
both
alcoholic. So did his
drinkers.
brother. Maybe they both want.
What?
I think they were both pretty heavy drinkers.
Absolutely. I don't think she needed to be, talked into drinking.
No.
She's bottoms up. She's happy to drink. She had no problem with that.
Wanted to drink. Who knows? The bottom line is Sarah is blaming him for everything. She's blaming him. So the only reason she's drinking was to placate him. Yeah. Although it apparently would upset the victim, the defendant suggested he call his daughter, who did not like talking to him when he was drinking, or that he call his brother to tell his brother that the victim had dragged the defendant down the stairs the night before. So
why would you do that? Why, if you're so scared and worried that you're going to set him off, why would you tell him to do one of two things that are already going to set him off? It makes no sense. Her story makes no sense. This crap that she's telling her doctor. Call your daughter who you hate and have a problem with, especially when you're drinking.
Yeah, that'll make her love you more. That'll win her back.
That could only go well for you, and it would make us have an incredible fun night afterwards. No. Or how about you call your brother? Let's talk to your brother. Like, what?
Or, you know what? I was thinking maybe that guy wasn't his brother. It was his son.
I have no idea. She says brother here. I have no idea.
Yeah. Oh, well, I mean, we'll know. We'll know, though, because he's going to be in court.
Yeah.
Withering flower of a victim who is so scared that she's distracting. She's so scared that she's going to placate him by drinking, which she, even though she knows she has to pick up her son the next day, blah, blah, blah. But this is all his fault.
Yeah.
And she can't even have autonomy over her own body because she has to placate him. But it's okay to suggest to him or encourage him to do something she knows that will upset him.
Right.
And this is according to Sarah. This is her crazy different stories.
Yeah.
Right. KPM says you don't boss around your abuser. Yeah.
Exactly.
Sign high.
And you certainly don't offer him to do activities that are going to piss him off. Why would you do that? Why would you do that?
You walk on eggshells. If you're a battered spouse, you walk on eggshells.
Absolutely. You don't suggest activities that are going to piss him off. Duh.
Yes, it's a wild ride today. So on the one hand, she's placating him and distracting him. Really, she's bossing him around. And
Right.
if you have met anyone with battered spouse, they're not doing that.
Exactly. That's what you just
15.
said.
Having done these, now this according to Sarah, having done these playful activities for numerous hours, there came a point where the defendant and the victim were sitting on her couch in the downstairs living room, and the victim tagged her and said, "You're it."
Why does it sound like she's playing with a toddler? Like she's babysitting a toddler to this whole night so far. All the things we wanted to do, and I suggest we do all these other activities instead, like hide and seek and arts and crafts.
And the thing is, with hide and seek, you don't say tag you're it. That's playing tag.
I know. The state takes a stab at her in a few seconds here, and it's glorious. Wait for it. You're gonna love
good.
it.
The next thing we're
From
gonna
past
hear
games.
is, I yelled Red Rover and he never ran over. I mean,
That's right. We were playing red light, green light. He never moved.
right.
Didn't matter how many times I turned around.
Of hide and seek, the defendant understood this to mean that he wanted to play hide and seek. She begrudgingly engaged in this game, as with everything else, to placate the victim. I don't remember my childhood that well, but isn't tag you're it? That's tag, and hide and seek is a different game.
Oh,
Is this not how it goes?
pick up. Okay.
I kind of feel like she played games with her kid, or she saw games being played with her kid, and that's what she's coming up with here.
Exactly how I feel. Like she's talking about like adventures with babysitting. This is what you do when you babysit a toddler.
So
Yes.
she's begrudgingly playing now. So before it was, we were having a great time, we were laughing, we were having fun, but now it's begrudging.
Mm-hmm. So see, now remember, now during the interrogation, it was, we were having a great time. We were having so much fun. And now it's like, oh God, I was doing everything I could just to keep him happy.
Yeah, he wanted to jump rope, so we did that. I mean,
Because she can slip in here when she needed to placate him, right?
mhm.
You look at the chat here. Thank you. Yeah. Responsibility. I think it's a threat to her sense of who she is. Hide and seek. Oh, somebody is celebrating. Come up with it, laughing. 16. She ran up, this according to Sarah, she ran up to the shower after becoming cold and perhaps some misunderstanding about the rules of hide and seek.
You see it, Randy? This is an official legal document, Randy. The state wrote this. And they said, after becoming cold and perhaps some misunderstanding about the rules of hide and seek, she left the shower upstairs and returned downstairs to find the decedent placing himself in a suitcase. I love it. And perhaps some misunderstanding about the rules of hide and seek. Oh, great. Love that.
Yes.
Love that. I love that.
Oh my gosh. This processing to the shower after becoming cold and perhaps some misunderstanding about the rules of hide and seek. Oh my gosh. This prosecutor is awesome. Okay. Perhaps some misunderstanding about the rules of hide and seek. She left the shower upstairs and returned downstairs to find the victim placing himself in a suitcase to hide. At the time of his death, the victim was only 103 pounds. Aaron says, clearly Sarah doesn't understand the rules for tag and hide and seek, two different games. Yeah. And I love this from the prosecution. Perhaps some misunderstanding about the rules of hide and seek. At the time of his death, the victim was only 103 pounds.
103 pounds, Randy.
What a little fella.
He's a tiny.
Oh.
He is a tiny 103 pounds. Dang.
She, I think, outweighed him. And he had a blood alcohol level of 0.138. So he's tiny and he's intoxicated.
Yeah.
The defendant saw him doing this and decided to zip the suitcase shut while the victim was inside it. They were
right. Steadius said she was too focused on getting straight A's to pay attention to hide and seek rules. Okay, give the lady some.
Play those silly games we played. She was in there studying and
Right.
getting straight A's in
straight A's, and she's never gonna drink again after this terrible night. She said so. She should be let go.
were both laughing, and there was still no animus between them on this day. This is according to Sarah. Well, how do you then claim self-defense, right?
Mm-hmm.
The defendant states she did not zip it completely shut. The decedent was able to poke a couple of fingertips through the gap left by the zipper. And the detectives addressed this in the interrogation, yet it seems like she's sticking to the story. In the video, there's no gap. He can't stick his fingers out. And if he could stick his fingers out and get out of that suitcase, he would still be alive.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna check
Okay, get your bullshit meters out because this is gonna get thick up in here.
Mm-hmm.
chat. Yeah, Sarah
This
was
part-
5'3" and 140 pounds at time of arrest. Thank you, KPM.
This is part
So
is coming
she
up
outweighed him.
close.
I think that makes a
He
difference.
outweighed the man by 40 pounds.
18. And then the decedent said he could not breathe. The victim, obviously got mad about not being able to breathe. So
Except the video, he's not mad at all. He's begging for his life. He's not mad. He's not angry. He's not cussing. He's not yelling.
Possibly
begging.
terrified.
Begging for his life. That's what he's doing. So this is crap. What's and this crap that she's gonna say right here. Oh my god.
victim, he obviously got mad. This is Sarah's story. This is not the prosecutor saying this. This is Sarah saying this in one of her stories, right? So he obviously got mad about not being able to breathe. The victim's getting mad made the defendant get mad. If you are, every DV victim knows this. If the abusers get mad, your first response is not anger. You might be angry later when you process everything.
Right.
Rage is pretty normal.
Right.
But in that moment,
You're
you're not
scared.
feeling angry because he's angry. You're going, oh crap.
Right. You're
I
scared.
need to deal with this.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. There's fear. There's concern.
Right.
There's scrambling in your
Never
mind.
once did you hear, when I get out of here, Sarah, you've had it. No, you didn't hear
Right.
any of that.
Not at all. He didn't threaten her in any way.
Mm-mm.
Do you calm this down? But no, her response is anger. That is contrary to battered spouse. I'm sorry.
It is.
So, sorry, I lost my spot. Oh, yes. Obviously, he got mad, according to her. And that made her mad. How dare he be angry? How dare he be angry at being forcibly confined? How dare he be angry at being abused? How dare he be angry about somebody else taking away his very ability to breathe? How dare he, huh? So she's mad. Yeah. So this is her reasoning. And can you picture this? This reminded her of the past violence the victim committed against her, causing her to be unable to breathe at those times.
Wow.
So, no empathy, but anger.
Wow.
You know, something bad happens to me, and then I
Wow.
hear about somebody else. You know, something bad happened to them that was similar.
This is the bullshit she fed her doctor or her quote expert. And this is why the state is bringing this all up. The state knows this is crap. The state knows this is crap. We all know this is crap.
But my first response is going to be empathy. So she even in her excuse making, she shows her vengeful nature. And I've talked about this in other videos, not just about Sarah, but on other offenders. Vengefulness is an indicator. It is a red flag. So if you're with somebody who is vengeful by nature, even if it's not directed at you, that's not somebody you want to be around. Really, you don't want to get entangled in that, because one day they're going to want to be vengeful against you.
Yes.
Okay, back to this.
Agreed.
So she's mad, and it's reminding her. So yeah, so then I thought of the past violence. It just reminded me of all this, and I was thinking about it, and I got mad about it. Can you picture that? So the defendant shook the suitcase. She lost control, and the suitcase flipped. Are you kidding me? How does that happen? Aaron says Sarah's making more of a case that George was the battered partner, not her. I think so.
Right.
Yeah.
Not intentionally, though. She's not intentional.
Not intentionally, though. She is. She's making a case that he was even more abused than this video and this case even suggested. And now listen to the rest of this crap. So he's angry, then she's angry because he's angry, and she starts to shake the suitcase, and it flipped. She lost control, and it flipped. What? How? What are you talking about? How does that happen?
Well, I bet she was.
And then it says she hit the decedent's fingertips with the wooden baseball bat that was in the room. What the hell? So let's listen.
Intentionally doing that. So she's no malicious towards herself. So she shook the suitcase.
And remember, during the interrogation, all of this was unintentional. No way, shape, or form. They don't want to hurt him. No way, no way.
And she thought
And this is
losing
how
him
this
was punishment enough.
Yeah, of course she did.
suitcase
Yeah.
flipped because she lost control. Really, how does that work? Did she pick it up like this and shake it
That's
and
what I
lose
want to.
control so it flips?
That's what I want to know. What did you do? How in the world do you lose control of the suitcase? How? Where are you? Do you hold? Like she said, are you holding it above your head and shaking it and it drops? Like what? How in
Yeah.
the world? Now he's only 103 pounds, but still, where are you shaking? Is this when it fell down the stairs? That's what I would like to know. Like, I don't know. Did this start upstairs and then end up downstairs? I don't know.
Really? Did she shake it in its laying down position or did she turn it up on its side and then shake? Come on. She's like, this is like a 5-year-old trying to explain something bad that they did, and they just keep digging a deeper hole because the next argument and the next argument is just more ridiculous. Leslie, what do you want to bet that Samsonite is considering adding a zipper tab on the inside of their suitcases? Yeah. You know what? I could see that because kids can do stuff like that too, get into suitcases. Donna is asking, is the jury being chosen today? No. Take care of the suitcase. Nope. Don't believe it for a second. Her shaking the suitcase just lost control, and that's how the suitcase got flipped. And here she admits she hit the victim's fingertips. Blah, I can't talk today. She hit the victim's fingertips with the wooden baseball bat that was in the room.
Okay, now that was brand new information for me. I did not know that there was a baseball bat that she hit him with. I did not know that happened.
I knew there was a baseball bat because supposedly she was donating it, but I think that's what she said. But I don't know.
Why would she even admit this?
I don't
Nobody
know.
else.
I've never heard like you. I've never heard this. Yeah.
This is now we're talking about felony battery on top of everything else. Not only, manslaughter or whatever it is, whatever it comes out being, but now you've beat the man. Why are you admitting this? Like, you're an idiot. She's so stupid. She really is dumb.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this is new information. During her interrogation, nobody touched anybody. She insisted that she didn't lay a hand on him. No, just the baseball bat.
Right, Cassandra?
So it makes me wonder if she...
It does change a lot, doesn't it? Now I have a whole different understanding of how this night went down.
Had to say that for some reason. If she was in a position where she had to somehow explain maybe an injury on his fingertips, right? And she's saying the wooden baseball bat was in the room. Yeah.
Wow.
KPM says if she hit his fingers with the bat, she hit him all over with the bat. Yep.
That's what I think too. I think she did. I think she hit the whole suitcase with that bat.
Yep.
That's what I think.
Yep.
And that's probably why how he got bruises. If she didn't throw him down the stairs in that thing, then the only other explanation is that she took that bat and hit it all over the place. And probably, although she's going to say, I don't even know. God only knows. But I don't know if they were playing a stupid game and that happened and those were accidental. But she's going with this whole battered spouse thing now. And so now it has to look like, she snapped. But it really does change things because the whole, he could get his fingers out and he could come out. Well, not if you're beating him with a bat.
Right.
Every time he pokes his little fingers out and you smack him one, you know what I mean? Like, what the hell?
And the
really
neighbors
does change things for me.
The neighbors said they heard a thunk, 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 thunk. So maybe, I don't know if that was him going down the steps or maybe that was her hitting him with that bat.
Right. Maybe that was the sound of the baseball bat hitting the suitcase. God, I mean, I don't know if we're ever going to know.
Yep. Don't F with Unicorn says, wow, was he trying to get out? I wonder. Giovanna says Sarah needs life, in my opinion. Yeah, I think this is
she's probably going to get close to it.
Worse than what everybody thinks.
I'm thinking that the judge is going to throw the book at her for making them go through this whole stupid trial when she could have taken a plea and been out in 8 years.
Yeah, because basically the other day he tried to rock her like a baby and she toddler kicked her way down.
Absolutely right. Absolutely right. He handed that to her with roses and a glass of wine and she spit on it.
Yep.
Stupid fool. Stupid fool.
Now, after having committed the independent forcible felonies of aggravated assault, aggravated battery, and the non-forcible felony of false imprisonment, the defendant believed the decedent would kill her. I love the way the prosecutor has
Yeah.
written this.
I love it too. The prosecution, that's a chef's kiss sentence right there. Despite believing, no, sorry. Now, after having committed the independent forcible felonies of aggravated assault, aggravated battery, and the non-forcible felony of false imprisonment, after all that, now the defendant believes the victim or the decedent would kill her.
Yeah.
Kick her ass, sir. Kick her
He's
ass.
pointing out
I'm sorry. And by kick her ass, I mean the state, the prosecution kick her ass, not
Yes.
literally anybody else kicking her ass. I mean, I'm talking about the prosecution because they're going for they're done. They're done playing her stupid games. And not to mention all of the money that she has cost the state of Florida with her endless, string of attorneys and all the other crap that they spent on her. Wants her hair done, wants her makeup done, wants special outfits. Shut up. She's
Didn't want the
ridiculous.
jury to see her jail shoes. Come on.
Ridiculous.
she's committed several felonies. She has admitted to all of this. And after committing these felonies, aggravated assault, aggravated battery, false imprisonment, right? After doing all these things to him, the defendant believed the decedent would kill her. Well, who is needing to defend themselves in this circumstance here? Is it Sarah?
Right.
Right?
Right?
Listen, if somebody breaks,
Who's the one getting beat on? Not you, Sarah.
But she didn't have a
Somebody
scratch on her. Not a
And
scratch.
Nope. Somebody needs to help poor George. He's the
Right.
one who needs help here. He's the one being attacked. You're not being attacked. You're fine.
in my house, or if somebody's here and is attacking me, I might, well, I guarantee you, I will fight back. So is that my fault? Right? Talk about reversing offender and victim here. That's Darvo, right? Like, talk about that reversal. Somehow, George wanting to maybe live, maybe not be beaten, not be forcibly confined. Somehow that gets twisted around so that the defendant needs to defend herself. This is actually outrageous. And I'm glad that the prosecutor wrote it like he did. So, believing that Mr. Torres is going to now kill her for what she did to him, what? She goes to sleep? She's that comfortable? She's okay with it all? Give me a break. Nikki says that's only the minimum on the books. They take into account also her behavior in jail.
Yeah, the prosecution's not buying this shit either. None of us are.
No.
So despite believing the decedent would kill her, the defendant flipped the suitcase over so it was right side up, and she believed that he could get out. And then she went upstairs and went to bed. I thought she was scared for her life. What are you talking about? So you went from scared for your life to night-night? The fuck?
Right. You just don't go to, I mean, no.
You
But
know,
I
party's
do-
over. I'll sit you right side up and go upstairs and go to bed. Like, what the hell? And when did she sit down and take the video? She didn't mention any of that. There's like 15 minutes of video, isn't there? Thank you, sweet. I appreciate that.
Well, I don't know.
She
if
didn't
it was
mention the
15
video where
minutes.
she sat and mocked him,
Yeah.
openly mocked him during, him begging to be let out. She didn't mention any of that to her doctor. I guess that doesn't fit with battered spouse, huh?
Right. And then she dumbass. Yeah. You.
Right? That's my name. Don't wear it out. She
Right.
didn't mention any of that to her doctor, I guess.
You know what's a good idea? Taunting your abuser. Yeah, that's a good idea, Sarah.
Mm-hmm. I thought you were so afraid for your life.
Mm-hmm.
Big lie. And that's why this is going to go nowhere. There isn't a jury. God, please help us not get a stupid jury. Please, Lord. Can we have a nice, smart jury that knows how to understand things?
This is what she's not thinking of. So, hey, Bo, Lisa, what she's not thinking here, I'm good, Davida. Thank you. I'm good. Here in Florida, I probably already said this. There's only going to be 6 jurors.
Really?
Uh-huh.
They don't have 12-member juries there?
Nope, they have 6.
Wow.
So that really lessens her chances, and she is not thinking at whatsoever.
I don't understand why she thinks she has a chance. I don't get that at all. How in the world does she think she has any chance at all? Even her attorney looked at her twice when she said no. He looked back at her and he's like, you know, tried to like tell her, you know, he was probably like, you might want to consider taking that. That was a great deal. Why did you turn that down? I cannot believe he's not doing her any favors if he's letting her think that this horse shit in this report is going to fly.
But they're the villains. They're the violent ones, according to her. Everything is everybody else's fault. So, 20. Despite believing the victim would kill her, the defendant flipped the suitcase over so it was right side up, and she believed the victim would be able to let himself out. And don't you love how the prosecution is pointing out the logic in this? She believes he's going to kill her, and that's why she had to kill him. And so, you know, believing he's going to kill her, she flips the suitcase over so he can get out. So,
right? Do you see what's happening? The prosecution is pointing out that this is crap. Right. Because why in the world would you flip the suitcase over so that it was right side up so he could get out if you're scared for your life and you're trying to kill him?
And man, I hope I'm in the courtroom when she takes the stand, because that, you know, the prosecution is going to ask her that very question. She's already said she's going to take the stand.
Yeah, I think she's dying to get on the stand. You could tell on that day she was so happy to get up there and say some things. But this is beyond crap, and that's what the prosecution is basically saying. If you read between the lines in this memo or this whatever this is, this motion, because you know the whole battered spouse is you intended to kill him because you didn't want him to kill you. That's the whole point. So you did all this on purpose. So then why would you set the suitcase right side up and expect him to get out and then go upstairs and go to bed without a gun at your side? Like, why would you do that? Why? You know, she took her bat and went upstairs waiting for him to come up and hurt her. Like, you didn't do any of that. You just went upstairs and went to bed. Why would you do that? You're scared for your life, remember?
Mm-hmm.
Fucking idiot. Right. She's covering all her bases. She still wants it to look like it was an accident. But it can't be an accident if you're claiming battered spouse.
Right. Exactly.
You did this on purpose. You chose to do this because you were scared for your life. That's what battered spouse, that's what you're saying. You're saying self-defense. You did this on purpose. But she still wants it to be an accident. You can't have it both ways. And that's why you're going to lose.
Mm-hmm.
So come on. Is this an accident or was this I needed to keep him in there? Which is it, honey? Nayla Stole the Spoon says she certainly wouldn't be welcome around my family. Yeah. Aaron, if she was afraid of George getting out of the suitcase, she wouldn't have. Whoops, I missed the comment.
She wouldn't have done any of this.
I do jurisdiction. The right suitcase got flipped because
she wants to drink her wine and have it too.
Was for the decedent to feel like what it was like for her to choke and not be able to breathe. She intended for him to feel this for 2 minutes and believed he would let himself out. And then when that happened, if she died, she died. Okay, that's not a typo. Let's take this apart a little bit.
Yeah, isn't that interesting? She wanted him to feel for 2 minutes what it was like to not be able to breathe, because that's what it feels like for her.
Mm-hmm.
And then he would come out, and at that point, if she died, if he killed her, then he killed her, and she was okay with that. Sounds reasonable, yeah.
Oh, that's totally the way I would be thinking. You know, if he kills me, I die. I die. You know,
if I die, I die. I mean, it is what it is. We had a good run. We had some fun puzzle time today. Like, this makes no sense. None of this makes sense.
Specific intent is important. This is actually more than just depraved heart. Okay, her specific intent was to actually harm him, to make him feel that way, to make him not be able to breathe. That was her intention, was to make him not be able to breathe. And she intended for him to feel like this for 2 minutes and believed he would let himself out. Well, this is a lie, because
2 minutes. The videos are at least 11 minutes apart, I believe, are the two videos. So it wasn't just 2 minutes, ma'am, because you recorded him for several minutes and then 11 minutes later recorded him again for several minutes while you taunted him both times. So it wasn't just 2 minutes. You're lying. You're lying.
when she did those videos, there was a time gap. There
I'm sorry. I really don't mean to say everything that this lady is then going to also say. I'm so sorry. I didn't realize she was going to say that. I apologize.
were 2 videos of him in the suitcase, and there was quite a large time gap between those 2 videos. It wasn't 2 minutes, right? We know that.
I love it. She actually said the exact same thing I just did. Sorry, guys. I didn't know she was going to do that. But yes, I agree with her, obviously.
Rita says it's first-degree murder. You know what? I think there's an argument for first degree, even without this, even based on whatever it was, if they could prove what happened upstairs before she stuffed him in the suitcase and threw it down the steps.
Yeah.
Okay. Rita says a gap of 11 minutes. Thank you. Yes, I knew there was.
I knew there was a gap too. Yeah, 11 minutes. There was a gap between the 2 videos, 11-minute gap. So she took a video of him taunting him. That's my name. Don't wear it out. Blah, blah, blah. And then 11 minutes later, took another video of him for however many minutes that video is. So this whole, I wanted him to be in there for 2 minutes and then let himself out. That's all bullshit. That's a lie. That is all a lie. She's made that up because she wants somehow for this to make sense to a jury, but it's not going to. It's never going to make sense to a jury because it doesn't make any sense.
A significant time gap. So this is nonsense that she believed he'd let himself out. No, she was still having fun torturing him 11 minutes later.
Yep.
And this last line. And when that happened, if she died, she died. This is according to Sarah with all these interviews with these doctors. Well, all right. I don't have the deposition transcript, so I don't know. But can you imagine? Can you imagine she's telling this story and somebody's going to ask her a question? Well, what did you think was going to happen if he could let himself out and you flip the suitcase over to allow him to? What did you think was going to happen? Right? And I'm imagining her saying, well, I guess, if I died, I died. Oh, poor me.
So all of a sudden she accepted her fate.
Yep.
If I die, I die. I gave it my best.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't understand. You're not scared at all. You're a fucking liar.
Aaron pointed out in the chat here that come into this then. How does that work? Because really, so, if I died, I died. So she's just going to give up her life for him. Really? Really? So how does self-defense come into this then? How does that work?
Right.
Because she's thinking this. So she's not even saying, I was afraid to let him out.
Nope.
She's not even saying that. I thought that
she didn't even
in
say
using
that.
his battered spouse, I knew she was going to lie, right? But I thought she would say, okay, I got him in a suitcase and I was afraid to let him out and I didn't know what to do, right? I thought that was going to be what it was. But no, she's not even doing that. She can't even, it's so important that she is perceived a certain way. She can't even tell a coherent lie.
Right. This is so true. So true. She wants this to be an accident so badly. She wants to be able to say to the jury, it was an accident. I didn't mean to do it. Please just let me go home. And she wants the jury to say, okay, you should get to go home. It's all right. You didn't mean to do it. It was a oopsie. It's okay. Accidents happen. I don't know. Like a human life was taken, Sarah. Like, I don't understand. This isn't like you spilled your milk.
She absolutely seems like she does not care that he died.
No. She doesn't. She cares way more about the impact on her. Way more.
Right.
Like, I used to think that she was just stupid. And now after reading this and hearing this, I'm starting to believe she's evil. It's not just stupid. You're a horrible person.
I do think she's a horrible person. I think she always has been.
Yeah. I'm completely rethinking this. This changes everything for me. The baseball bat, hitting him with a baseball bat with his little fingers poking out. Like, that's all new information. I didn't know that she did all that. I thought she was just an idiot. I still think she's an idiot, to be fair. But I really am now way more inclined to believe that she's evil. And maybe she didn't mean to kill him, but she sure meant to torture him. And that's not much different. I'm sorry. She absolutely meant to torture him. Then that makes her evil in my eyes.
Yep.
This is bananas. But, so this is her being the victim of, if I die, I die. I'm going to look at the chat for a second. Esther says, don't forget, though, Florida jury let Casey Anthony go free. Yeah, but she didn't videotape. Yet at the I don't care. AD, I don't care. And if it's... So 22. So she's making contradictory arguments and playing the victim. 22. She did not intend to kill him, and she did not believe that leaving the victim in the predicament she placed him in would kill him. His death was an accident. Well, is it an accident or is it self-defense? Which is it?
Right.
The prosecution is making excellent arguments here.
Yes.
Without,
and that is an excellent argument. She and Sarah, and that's what Sarah keeps going back to. She really wants it to be excused because it was an accident. She really wants that.
Right.
before he even makes the arguments, he's putting forth facts that go to support his argument that battered spouse should not be allowed in opening statements and should not be mentioned unless the defendant gets up on the stand herself and gives evidence that shows that this battered spouse defense is actually necessary and admissible. Fuzz bucket. Can the jury consider giving her more time than the charges call for if they think she was charged too lightly? No, so whatever
No,
the sentence is has to be within the legal range. The jury can't say, well, I mean, nobody can say, well, the punishment, here's the max and here's the minimum, right? The judge can't sentence her to more than the max that the law will allow. They can't say, we know you were charged with this, but we're just gonna go with this other thing that you weren't charged with. They can't do that. Janet says,
no, but her max is life, so she could get life.
Right. I'd be
okay with that.
And I think they're going to stick to the sentence that she's going to get is 22 to life.
Yeah. Does it have to be 22 to life, or can it just be 22? All the way up into life. What if he just gives her straight life?
I don't know if he can do that. I think it's based on the charge. It's got to be 22 to life, where she can try to appeal, but she'll not appeal, but parole. But she'll never get paroled because in order to get parole, you have to admit what you've done.
Right. And after 4.5 years of sitting with all this, you still can't admit what you've done.
Right. She's just been in there thinking up news stories. That's what she's doing.
Right. I don't know how she thought telling this to a doctor was gonna help her in any way.
Right.
Strange.
Who was arrested for DV, and I didn't see the rest of your chat. So list. Put the filtered. Carolina, pretty sure you can. All kinds of other things. Document. Send it to me. Okay. Let's get to the legal analysis.
We're almost done.
Battered spouse syndrome evidence is inadmissible if the defense is an accident rather than self-defense. He cites Wagner.
Yeah, see? Oh. That's law. That's state law. Wagner versus state. That's the law. Battered spouse syndrome evidence is inadmissible if the defense is an accident rather than self-defense. And that's the entire point of her defense, is that this was an accident. That's why they wanted the interrogation thrown out. They are trying so hard to get that evidence taken out, but you can't.
The defendant's testimony is that she intentionally, come on, who's not laughing at this? Intentionally zipped the suitcase out of levity and while kidding around with the victim during a friendly game of hide and seek. Then, when the victim informed her that he could not breathe, she intentionally decided, out of anger, to make him feel like he's trapped in there for a couple of minutes while she beat and shook the suitcase and hit his hand with a baseball bat.
Wow.
This is aggravated assault, aggravated battery, and false imprisonment. Yes, it is. Wow. She stated that she flipped the suitcase right side up, saw that the decedent could get 2 fingertips through an opening, and she went upstairs to bed, believing he would be able to get out in a couple of minutes. She had no intention to kill him, no intention to leave him trapped inside of the suitcase, and she did not even comprehend that he could die from this. I think he was already gone when she went to bed, but that's a whole other discussion. The defendant is thus still saying that the decedent's death was an accident, and she is not entitled to an instruction on self-defense or to supplant a self-defense case with reputation evidence, specific instances of past violence, or battered spouse syndrome evidence, and he cites case law on this.
Okay, and that's another thing, this case law, that because that's what they're hoping to do. They're hoping to bring in this history, the violent history of frankly, both of them being violent toward each other and being arrested many times. She's trying to bring that in. And the prosecution is saying, nope, you can't do that. You can't use reputation evidence, specific instances of past violence. You can't do that. You can't bring that in. There's case law about that.
Yeah, well,
And
because George
Go ahead.
isn't on trial.
Exactly. And the fact that they're citing all this case law, that is like, if you hear several times when her attorney is speaking, you hear the judge say, what's the case law? What's the case law? That's what he's talking about. He's wanting this stuff that the prosecution puts out, perfectly clear. They're citing the case law for the things that they're saying. And her attorney can't seem to manage to do that. In fact, there's a new document. Hopefully we have time to look at it right after this. It won't be this long. It'll be shorter, where her attorney is writing a memo, a motion or whatever, and he has the dates wrong. He's got, it's all full of, I think there's a typo in it, even a couple typos. It reminds me of Merb's attorney.
I was about to say, it sounds like an attorney we know.
It does. It reminds me of it's the same kind of thing. You got a pit bull against a, pug. And that's what we have going on here with, I think, Sarah's attorney and this prosecution too. Same thing.
Yes, I'm going to check out the chat. Melanie, Sarah's ex said she had been an alcoholic for a long time. Nita says, holy crap, she beat him with the bat. What an evil person. Yep. And sounds like she admitted it. Nikki says she saw it on headed paper.
And that was brand new information. I did not know that she hit him with a bat. Fuck. All right, I think we're pretty much done here.
Okay.
Statement that she perpetually lived in a state of fear of the victim is not sufficient to allow for a self-defense instruction and all of the ancillary evidence of reputation testimony, specific acts of past violence or battered spouse syndrome testimony. And in quotations, however, before a defendant may introduce evidence of the victim's character, he must first show that there was an overt act by the victim at or about the time of the incident that reasonably indicated a need for self-defense.
And look at all that case law after that.
Is important here because Sarah, in police interrogation, is saying we were having a good day.
Yeah. And that's exactly why that can't be entered, because her testimony is that they were having a great day. He didn't do anything. He didn't make a single threat toward her. He didn't even sound angry at her. All right. So that's it for that one. The rest of the video is on the playlist if you guys want to see it. There's another video that I want to share. This one right here.
Okay.
Hang on. Okay. This one's much shorter, but I think you'll enjoy it. Let me get here. This one is also on the playlist. I will drop the link in the chat for you guys. Here it is. I enjoy this guy too. I think he's pretty good. He doesn't only do Sarah Boone stuff though, so you can pick and choose what you want to watch on his thing. But here we go.
In court earlier this month, in an attempt to have her interrogation at the police station thrown out. It went badly. Sarah Boone's version of events did not make sense with either the prosecution or defense's argument, in my opinion. The judge, afterwards in his decision, mentioned how Sarah Boone's explanation of events couldn't possibly have happened based on the sheer time, but also she is unreliable in what she is saying. Sarah Boone would get tripped up with very basic questions to the point at one point her lawyer interjected, in my opinion, just to give her more time to try to come up with an answer. And the problems from that continue. This is a notice of supplemental discovery. They are using the transcript of her testifying in court against her. I have to imagine her lawyer warned this with a possibility, maybe an inevitability, but I believe Sarah Boone will be absolutely enraged when she finds out about this, especially because her testimony did not work.
Okay, so do you understand what's happening here? They're letting her know, or I hope this is the right thing. They're letting them know that they plan to use her testimony that she just did the other day in court. They're going to use that against her too. Okay, this isn't the same video I was talking about. Damn. Maybe it is.
The interrogation stayed in. Now, with that being said, there is a lot in this Sarah Boone case. We've gone through a lot and we have forgotten a lot. And a lot of little things, we might have forgotten. For example, I know someone who just recently binge watched a bunch of Sarah Boone content. Not mine, someone else's, but they binge watched it. And they brought up a question. Sarah Boone is using battered spouse, and when she appeared in court about this, there was talk of the cell phone and coaching, trying to have charges dropped for George, and the prosecution mentioned that on the phone, Sarah was trying to coach him to have charges dropped that were against her. And they asked a very basic question. So if there were charges going both ways, how do they compare? How is it going to look to a jury? Because remember, the jury is going to get as much information as they can give them in a very short amount of time that's going to stick with them. Well, I looked up George, and it appears to be misdemeanors. Maybe I've missed it. Just misdemeanor domestic violence, essentially. Sarah.
Okay, this isn't it. This isn't it. Hang on. Give me one second. Give me 1 second.
Hi,
This is,
Pam.
I mean, that's good stuff too, but I think that there's the one that I want to show you is different. Oh, this is it. Where is it then? That's weird. Because what I thought he was reading was something by the defense.
Oh, maybe he just hadn't got to it yet.
No. I've already seen the video, so I know that. I thought this guy was the one who did it, though.
Oh, okay.
Oh, well, let me see.
Okay.
Let's keep watching this, and we'll see. It's only 8 minutes, and it's going fast. So
I gotta pull it back in.
Okay.
There we go.
Transcript of her testifying in court against her. I have to imagine her lawyer warned this was a possibility, maybe an inevitability, but I believe Sarah Boone will be absolutely enraged when she finds out about this, especially because her testimony did not work. The interrogation stayed in. Now, with that being said, there is a lot in this Sarah Boone case. We've gone through a lot, and we have forgotten a lot. And a lot of little things that, we might have forgotten. For example, I know someone who just recently binge watched a bunch of Sarah Boone content. Not mine, someone else's, but they binge watched it. And they brought up a question. Sarah Boone is using battered spouse, and when she appeared in court about this, there was talk of a cell phone and coaching, trying to have charges dropped for George. And the prosecution mentioned that on the phone, Sarah was trying to coach him to have charges dropped that were against her. And they asked a very basic question. So if there were charges going both ways, how do they compare? How is it going to look to a jury? Because remember, the jury is going to get as much information as they can give them in a very short amount of time that's going to stick with them. Well, I looked up George, and it appears to be misdemeanors. Maybe I've missed it. Just misdemeanor domestic violence, essentially. Sarah, on the other hand, felony battery by strangulation.
Yikes.
And now it seems like I've heard that before because the way he landed, that's why he died.
Well, this was I think these are previous charges.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah, these are previous things because they want to pull in his bad acts, right? They want to say that, he has this long history of domestic violence when really she is the one who has a history of domestic violence. And maybe he does as well, but she, battery by strangulation, that's not good, Sarah.
No.
Videos. Her newest story is that when George complained he couldn't breathe, she got enraged thinking back to him keeping her from breathing. She also hit his finger with a baseball bat. But as far as I can tell, between the two, the only one charged for strangulation is Sarah.
Yeah, interesting, huh?
How interesting. And if this is brought up in court, I have to imagine, whether on purpose or not, maybe subconsciously, this will stick with jury members. He couldn't breathe. Sarah Boone has a history. And really, it got me thinking about there's so much with Sarah Boone, for you and me, and I think most people watching this case, that makes her unlikable. And maybe some of that unlikability will not get shown to the jury. I'm sure some of her letters will, I would have to think, and some of them.
Oh,
because
I feel like the jury will pick up pretty quickly that she's unlikable. I have faith in them. I think she just oozes unlikability. So I think that they'll pick it up pretty quickly.
Yeah.
I hope they do anyway.
Her story a little bit in some of
Well,
them.
she's
But they
arrogant.
won't get the full force of Sarah.
Very. Yes. Very.
Yeah.
Sarah. But what they do get is condensed. There are moments with Sarah Boone that we as viewers, even the people that religiously tune in and check out her court documents and what's happening, that you forget or you misremember because so much time has passed. The jury isn't going to have that. The jury is going to be presented to them quickly. And I went through again, very brief overview, just looking through some of my older Sarah Boone stuff, other people's older Sarah Boone stuff people I hadn't watched covering Sarah Boone before. And I'm just sitting here wondering, how can a jury ever side with her? I can't imagine it personally. And then I go to social media, and I've never done that, actually. I'm going to be honest, I've never gone on Twitter and searched Sarah Boone. And what I find is people talking about how she should have taken the deal.
Yes.
Hell yeah.
And now, no matter the delays, because they're still coming, we're getting close to the end of this thing. We're getting to the point where we're going to finally get to find out what the decisions are. Now, for anyone that didn't know, just in case you missed the last video, there is a delay. Jury selections moved to the 14th because of the hurricane. And personally, what am I wondering? I'm honestly wondering if we'll get a Sarah Boone handwritten letter complaining about the hurricane delay. Or if we'll get an update from the jail where she does something. Because they were keeping notes from her in jail when she refused to shower, refused breakfast, yelled at her lawyer, refused her laptop, that type of thing. We have those documents on the docket.
Wow.
And even though you would probably
even the jail has been tattling on her. That bitch can't do anything.
No.
During a delay, there's probably not going to be much.
Jail's been tattling on. This isn't the video, damn it. I don't know what. I got to try to find it.
I'm telling you, that's why that cop. When the judge, I don't know why the judge left it up to the cop that was there, but he asked if she could have some water. And I mean, with this look on his face, like, let that bitch not ever drink again. You know, he said no.
They're going to throw water at her. They're not interested in giving this bitch any damn water. Shut up, Sarah.
Her lawyer looked over and he said, not even like a cup out of the water fountain? Nope.
Nothing.
No,
nothing, bitch. Nothing. You can't have nothing. Let me see if this is it. Hang on one second. Yep, this is it right here. All right. This is the video I wanted you to watch.
Okay.
I'm so sorry. I thought that it was another one. So let me add this to the playlist as well. Okay, it is now added to the Sarah Boone playlist. Let's look at her. This is her defendant. This is Sarah Boone's attorney writing something.
Come on.
And I think you'll enjoy it.
I really like her attorney, though. He's just so nice.
I know. He is a nice guy. Well, Mommy Rambling's attorney's a nice guy, too. He's just a little in over his head. That's all.
Yeah.
Just like Sarah's attorney.
For Sarah Boone's trial date, and we have another motion filed. You can see the time at the top, 10/06/2024 at 3:28 p.m. Defendant's motion in limine. What is this last-minute attempt? The defendant, by and through the undersigned counsel and under sections 90.402, 90.403, and 90.404, Florida statute requests this honorable court to exclude certain evidence at the trial of this cause, specifically redacting portions of the 2-hour interrogation at the Orange County Sheriff's Office, and his grounds alleged as follows. So they are trying to redact portions of the 2-hour interrogation. They just failed getting thrown out entirely.
Okay, so you understand. Is that too fast for anybody? I hope it's not. Basically, he just explained it. This is the defense now writing a motion. They want to try to get parts of the interrogation thrown out, and they're going to be specific now about the parts that they want thrown out. Now, remember, they just did a whole thing to try to get the interrogation thrown out, and the judge said, nope, not going to happen. So now they're trying to get at least parts of it thrown out now. And pay attention to how this man writes his documents. First of all, notice the date. The offense allegedly occurred on February 23rd, 2024. No, it didn't. No, it didn't. February 23rd, 2020, sir. It was 4 years ago.
Bless him.
Bless him. Aw.
Hey, Rosebud.
He's trying to go quickly.
Right where I am, Rosebud, it's not that bad, but there's a lot of places that are flooded. Go ahead.
Defendant Sarah Boone is charged by way of information with a single count of second-degree murder. The offense allegedly occurred on February 23rd, 2024 in Orange County, Florida. That is not true. The offense did not occur this year. Yikes. During the homicide investigation, the defendant was asked to come to the Orange County Sheriff's Office. Defendant arrived on February 25th, 2024. Again, another big yikes. 2020. Normally I wouldn't harp on this, but if this is your last minute filing, you might want to get your dates right. Was escorted into interrogation room. A custodial.
Whoops. Whoopsie.
Just kind of read it before you send it in. Just scan
Just
over it.
give it a glance. Give it a glance over. Just make sure you got your dates right. You know.
Yeah,
come on.
nobody's perfect, but just a glance.
Bless him. He's hurrying. Clearly, he's rushing.
Video interrogation of the defendant then ensued. The approximately 2-hour interrogation was recorded by audio and video.
Yeah,
During the
give it a little
interrogation, two
look-see.
homicide detectives questioned the defendant at length concerning the facts and circumstances surrounding George Torres's death. At such time, statements were made by the defendant and the two detectives. Some of the statements made by the parties should be excluded and redacted from the video mentioned above. So, some of the statements they don't want in. Well, what are they? From the transcript of the interrogation video titled Transcript of Taped Interview of Sarah Boone conducted by Detective Chelsea Kopsel, case number 20-17904. First section of evidence to be excluded. Following the dialogue from pages 69 through 71, beginning on line 6 of page 69, Detective Scott Lowen, hold on. You had two different neighbors that lived directly next to you. You asked to use the bathroom and they told you no and turned you away. You had to go. Sarah Boone says, oh, Detective Scott Lowen. Across the way to somebody else, Sarah Boone. Oh,
What
no.
about that?
Okay, Kim and Ellie. Ellie or Kim is not a nice person. Detective Scott Lowen. Okay. Sarah Boone, she's just automatically not nice. Even after me and Lucas went over there and introduced ourselves, she's just not a nice person. Detective Scott Lowen, then why would you think she would let you use her restroom? Sarah Boone, because Ellie was in there, and Ellie comes over and talks to us sometimes, which I think pisses Kim off.
I think it's Eli. For anyone else that might need to know that.
Ellie.
It's a man. I think his name is Eli.
And we shall call him Ellie from now on, though.
Okay.
So
that's right. Henceforth, he shall be known as Ellie.
Okay. Sarah Boone, because he'd come over to talk to us, the two of them, like super standoffish all the time. My neighbors down the street, down the way, their toilet was broken. They had stuff in the bathroom. So then Detective Scott Lowen, bathrooms. Sarah Boone, like go over there and try over there.
Does this not remind you of when we read the deposition with Mommy Ramblings and the other attorney?
yeah.
And the Hell to the Nose attorney? It totally reminds me of that. Talking over each other. Nobody can finish a sentence. She's not shutting up and waiting until he's done asking a question. How do you transcribe all that? God, that's got to be hard.
And I will say, I get the feeling like her attorney, he has to talk kind of fast because they always shut him down. You know, it's like,
yeah, I know.
Yeah. I was holding up a big piece of paper that said
there's two bathrooms, so both
he didn't see it.
Their bathroom. Sarah Boone, I wouldn't let nobody go upstairs and use my personal bathroom. Sarah Boone, that's what the downstairs one is for. Detective Scott Lowen, or somebody you knew. Sarah Boone, they're in the process of doing all this stuff in the kitchen. Detective Scott Lowen, okay. Sarah Boone, and there's stuff in the bathroom and the toilet doesn't work. Just move across the way, no problem. Sarah Boone, and of course they let me in. Them, they're together. They're part of their families. That's what you really want to know, and I hope it doesn't get them in trouble. But he is over here illegally, so he's trying to work on getting his green card. Detective Scott Lowen, what does that got to do with you using the bathroom? Sarah Boone, they didn't want to be involved.
Snitch.
Detective Chelsea Kopsel, what?
So they're trying to get this part thrown out. Why?
Because she's trying to get somebody deported. Like, hey, call ICE. They wouldn't let me poop in their toilet.
I don't understand. You're filing a motion at the last second to get this thrown out? Why? Why don't you get the part thrown out where she talks about not intentionally trying?
Uh-oh, you're cut out.
Oh, sorry. Can you hear me now or no?
Yeah, I can.
I said, why don't you get the part thrown out where she talks about, not trying to kill him on purpose?
Yeah, or the part where look it up. We he's doing great in counseling. He's been really sweet to me.
Yeah, get that thrown out. Why do you give a shit if your bathroom experiences are in there? Like, who cares? Oh my God.
What's the address? Detective Scott Lowen. No. I was asking last night because we had several different people. Sarah Boone, assuming. Detective Scott Lowen. Stay in the neighborhood, come up. Sarah Boone. Eli and him, Detective Scott Lowen, saying that she was drunk on a regular basis. Sarah Boone. Eli and Kim, okay. Did you ask Benny next door? Sarah Boone. Those are the ones next door that she asked to use the restroom, and they no. Probably said no. Detective Scott Lowen. No, she said no. Detective Chelsea Kopsel. Okay. Sarah Boone. Like I said, she's not a nice person. What did I just read?
We don't know, dude.
I need a moment. Okay.
We don't know. We don't know what you just read. It makes no sense to us either. But bless him, this attorney worked so hard to get this in. He got it in super fast at the end, even put the wrong dates. But okay, it's very important to get this restroom evidence thrown out. Don't want that in there.
Because she don't want the neighbors to know that she tried to turn them in for being here illegally. That's what's going on. She thinks I'm going home. They probably still live there, and they're going to kick my ass.
Okay, but here's the problem. Well, A, you're not going home, so you don't need to worry about that. B, your neighbors aren't on the jury. They're probably on YouTube, though, so they've already heard this already.
Yeah.
So make sure the jury doesn't know. I mean, what do they care? Your neighbors aren't going to be on the jury, but I'm sure they're on YouTube, and I'm sure they already saw this interrogation, and they're already mad at you, ma'am.
Right.
So who cares?
Not to mention, you killed a man. So, I
mean, yeah, there's that too. I don't know. Something tells me they're not going to be too mad, too bothered. They already know. They've probably already moved by now anyway.
We're good. The exclusion of the said evidence is required due to lack of relevance under Section 4402 Florida statutes.
So he wants it taken out because it's irrelevant.
Well, it kind of is irrelevant. I don't know why it went on, but
it is, but it's 30 seconds. Why in the world would you care if it's redacted? Like, shut up. Just let it go. Most of what she said is irrelevant. The fact that she got straight A's in high school is also
about
irrelevant.
to say they want to take this out, but leave in where she got straight A's. Okay.
Most of what she said was irrelevant. Most of it. It's all pretty bad.
In addition, the evidence is improper character evidence under Section 9404 Florida statutes. I have an opinion at this point.
And notice how he doesn't really put any case law. Section 90.402 Florida statutes, but there's no case law like the prosecution put in. Do you notice the difference?
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was pretty, it's very, very much reminds me of, another attorney that you've been following.
I'm going to hold that.
You know what? I'm not making squat. I'm spending a whole lot of money at a hotel.
Never going to get paid back. This woman's going to prison for the rest of her life. You're never going to get paid back, sir. I mean, this was a valiant effort. Maybe God will give you a crown in heaven. I don't know. I mean, it was very sweet of you, but honestly, this bitch has no chance of paying you back ever.
In section of evidence to be excluded. Page 53, line 11, Detective CK. Well, he's dead as a result of your actions. Line 13, Detective CK. He's dead as a result of your actions. Line 14, Sarah Boone. I understand that. Page 55, line 24, Detective LS. I have one last question, and you realize you're the person that killed him, right? Page 56, line 1, Sarah Boone. Obviously, I thought about that. Page 92, line 15, Detective LS. Well, intention or not, George is dead. You act like when you say unintentionally that absolves you from everything. The above evidence is improper opinion testimony by law enforcement officer. Law enforcement cannot express opinions on the law or the ultimate issue of fact for the jury.
So he's trying to get this thrown out, saying that they've made this. They've already convicted her. Basically, they've already convicted her as guilty. So therefore, the jury can't hear that. Otherwise, they'll be swayed to agree with law enforcement. I think that's what they're trying to say.
Yeah.
And so he's trying to get that part thrown out.
Probably because, and she said he's dead because of your actions, and she says, I understand that.
Yes, exactly. And that's what they're trying to get thrown out, because it looks like she's already been convicted, basically, or she's admitting something. Yeah. And that's why they're trying to get this thrown out. I think that's why they're trying to get this part removed. And law enforcement says it, it's your fault. If not for you, he'd still be alive, basically. If not for you, he whatever. And that's why they're trying to get this part thrown out, I believe.
In addition, such statements assume the truth of contested facts and encourage the jury to find the defendant guilty as charged because a law enforcement officer said so. If this opinion...
Yeah, see that? The statements assume the truth of contested facts and encourage the jury to find the defendant guilty as charged because a law enforcement officer said so. Okay, so that one makes a little more sense to me than the restroom part. I don't understand that part. That's ridiculous to me. This does make a little more sense to me. But I think that there is a law that talks about this. So I don't know that this is going to work either.
Evidence is admitted, the jury may assume the validity of the law enforcement officer's opinion because it was allowed in evidence and rely on the opinion in finding the defendant guilty. The issue of causation is exclusively the jury's job. This opinion evidence invalidates the province of the jury's fact-finding mission. The exclusion of any or all the evidence described above is required as the value of such evidence is substantially outweighed by the danger of unfair prejudice, confusion of the issues, misleading the jury would serve only to inflame the jury. Therefore, the defendant requests the court to enter an order excluding the above statements from the videotaped interrogation on this matter. Respectfully submitted, James Owens. So I want to talk about the first one, right? The first one, the bathroom one. What does this have to do?
It doesn't.
I get, like he says, under relevance. But why does he think this is going to be like used by the prosecution? Unless he's assuming the prosecution is going to just play the whole interrogation for the jury, which is, I guess, possible, right? It's weird that they like choose the toilet scenario. The second one,
agree.
I get what they're trying to say, but does that mean that in any interrogation where a detective says you murdered them, does that mean that any section around that gets thrown out? Because I don't feel like that's the case. Maybe I don't know the law. But here's my opinion. Here's my thoughts. I think Sarah Boone's lawyer knows that the prosecution, or thinks the prosecution, is just going to play the entire uncut interrogation. And it kind of makes sense considering how Sarah Boone's lawyer has attacked that interrogation as being improper. The best way to combat that would be to share the entire interrogation with the jury.
Well, and I think they should play the entire interrogation. I could watch that over and over. It's fantastic. It's actually enjoyable. It's a wonderful interrogation. I love it. We laughed our ass off during that interrogation. It was great.
Yes.
I hope they play it all. The jury should get to see it. It'll be the highlight of the trial.
The jury. Also because the things said in this interrogation won't match Sarah Boone's new battered spouse testimony.
Exactly.
I think this part here is trying to remove something, maybe because it is, this part here, the second part. I think this is maybe trying to remove something that's actually a bad look for his client, whether it's illegal or not, to actually use it. But this part here, I think he wants them to say this is, not needed, right? The prosecution doesn't need to play this part. Personally, thinking about this, not as a lawyer, as like a random person, if I was on a jury and I was told that the validity of this interrogation, was she coerced? I'm assuming her lawyer's allowed to make arguments like that still in court, even though he lost his motion. If that argument's being made to me, and they start playing the interrogation in question, and then that interrogation has cuts in it, I might assume that the cuts are there because something was done improperly.
Yes.
So I would argue
he's got a point.
Mm-hmm.
He's got a very good point, and maybe that's why the attorney is trying to get some random piece of it thrown out, because this is nothing. Like, who cares if this is in or not? But if he gets it thrown out because it's it's a section that's totally irrelevant to the case, then to the jury, like he just said, if bits and pieces are cut up, then maybe something should happen there that shouldn't have. I get what he's saying there. He could be right.
That cutting out this bathroom part here would actually possibly prejudice the jury in the other direction.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And maybe that's the goal of this last minute motion, hoping the state's like, sure, whatever, we don't need it. We have the rest of the interrogation, right? That's my guess. Maybe I'm completely off base, but let me know in the comments. If you're someone who hasn't watched my Sarah Boone coverage before, just so you know, I do have a playlist you can check on my channel of all of my Sarah Boone coverage. I believe it's
okay. That's it. Anyway, I found this guy. I like him. I think he's good. He doesn't, like I said, he also does gaming stuff, so he's not only Sarah Boone, but I do enjoy his Sarah Boone stuff. He seems to, I just enjoy it, so shared it with all of you guys, and he's on the playlist on my channel, so if you need to find him, you can find him there. Interesting case, girl. I can't wait till next Monday.
Me either.
You had to get through a whole ass hurricane.
Yeah.
They should have just named this Hurricane Sarah.
I agree with that.
But yeah, get through a whole ass hurricane first. Thanks, Sarah. And then we can finally get to jury selection. 6 jurors, huh? Well, good. Hopefully it'll go by fast then.
That's what I was thinking. It's 6 jurors, and I think they want at least 6 to 8 alternates. So.
Oh, wow. They want an alternate section that's even bigger than the jury section?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Yeah, he doesn't want to do anything to stop this trial. He wants this trial to go.
Yep.
Let's go.
He basically said that. He said, with the Rona coming back around, he said, I don't want any reason for this to not go on because of 6 jurors. So.
Right.
And if one juror catches it, they all catch it. So.
Oh, jeez. Now, if you're an alternate on a jury, do you get to watch the whole trial? But where do you sit?
I don't know where you sit, but I know you watched the whole trial. There, you probably sit in the jury box.
Okay. That's right, sweet. Let's fucking go. Let's go.
Yes. Come
Yeah.
on.
Yeah, we want it. We want this to go. We've waited long enough. Not like
I'm about to have to start running in place in this room. Like,
well, maybe you can go watch a movie or something. Is there anything open over there, or is everything still shut down?
oh, everything's still shut down.
Mm.
Actually, I say that, but it's not really true. So far, I'm so into that show that I'm just like, yeah, I'm good.
Good. Well, that's good. All right. Well, that's all I have for new Sarah stuff. The stuff with the bat was brand new information. Fuck her. I now see her as a totally evil person.
I do
Not
too.
just stupid. She's still stupid, but she's not just stupid now.
She's stupid, or maybe she's calculated. I want to know, did she plan that all night? Did she think, I got to get him in a suitcase? Well, I mean,
I don't think so. No, I don't. I don't think she planned it. I don't think this is premeditated at all. I think she just, was ridiculous when he finally got in there. And then I don't know, I guess she thought it was funny that he was asking to get out, and she just thought she'd fuck with him for a little bit. And then instead of, ending the game and letting the man out, she went upstairs and went to bed.
well, yeah, I got news for you, Sarah. Anytime, if you love someone, you never want to see them suffer, like, ever.
Well,
So
she's an idiot. She doesn't think that her actions cause other people to suffer. It's everybody else's actions that cause her to suffer. That's the
yes.
difference. Nothing she does hurts anybody. All the time that she's left, bailed on her son, never, every day he has to call and see if she's going to come pick up the boy. Can you imagine that poor child waiting for his mom every day? Oh, nope, sorry, she's hungover today. She's not coming. Like, bless him. She doesn't care. It's everybody else that has to put up with her crap. Anytime she has to put up with crap, it's a problem.
Right. You know who else is on trial?
Who?
Leilani.
Yes. From what's the little kid, the little boy,
Mhm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. I can't believe, I'm surprised that trial's already started.
Me too.
That's fast. Are they streaming it anywhere?
Yeah, they were streaming it the other day. They were doing jury selection.
Okay, so they're streaming it on like Court TV or something?
Yeah, well, I guess it may have been Long Crime, but probably
Okay.
on TV too.
Okay.
And I thought, man, I need to be in two places at once. That one's, it's in Georgia, so.
Well, I would love to cover that case too, because fuck her.
Fuck her.
Yeah, that would be a good one to cover too. I'd be fine to cover that.
I agree, Knitting. Yes. All right, y'all. Well, you ready?
Yeah, that's all I got.
All right, we will be back soon. Thank y'all so much for everybody checking up on me and caring, and thanks for listening to us run our mouths. I will be back soon.
That's right. Bye, guys.